If you're a Manchester United fan, what I'm about to tell you is going to sound embarrassing. But did you know that Old Trafford is so old that the roof leaks when it rains? Yes, Manchester United's home has been falling apart for years, but the good news is the club's finally decided to build a brand new stadium. Keep watching this video because you won't believe the capacity this new stadium, or should we say New Trafford, will have. But first, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the Visionary Builds channel, and thanks for being here. The major problems with Old Trafford. If you ever watched a Manchester United game at Old Trafford, you know it's a legendary stadium. Some of the best football players in history have played there. But the problem is, it's getting old. Really old. The stadium was built in 1910, and while it's been renovated a few times, it no longer is keeping up with modern standards. Now, you'd think a club as big as Manchester United would have a top-tier stadium, right? But Old Trafford's been left to rot in some places. The paint's peeling, the seats are worn out, and the plumbing is questionable at best. If you ever tried using the toilets there, you know exactly what we're talking about. In fact, it's an experience that might leave you reconsidering your choices of football clubs to support. Then there's the lack of modern technology. Other top clubs have state-of-the-art stadiums with incredible sound systems, fancy LED screens, and top-notch Wi-Fi. Meanwhile, at Old Trafford, fans struggle to get a signal strong enough to check other scores. And let's not even get started on the restricted views in some parts of the stadium. If you're unlucky enough to be stuck behind a pillar, well, enjoy watching the game through the tiny gaps like you're playing a real-life version of football-themed peekaboo. But the final straw that broke the camel's back is Old Trafford's structural issues. That roof's been leaking for years, and when it rains, fans in certain areas have to bring raincoats inside the stadium. Yes, you heard me right. Raincoats inside. This isn't just embarrassing for a club of this stature, it's totally unacceptable. However, instead of just fixing these issues, the club decided to take things to the next level by building a whole new stadium. What will the new stadium look like? As you'd expect, the new stadium is expected to be massive, and with a seating capacity of 100,000, it's going to be the biggest stadium in England, even larger than Wembley. The club has already hired world-class architects, Foster Plus Partners, the same team that designed Wembley, to make sure the stadium is top-notch. The good news is the early designs show a sleek, futuristic look, but surprisingly, not everyone is impressed. Some fans think that the stadium looks like a dishwasher tablet, while others say it resembles a giant boiled sweet. But regardless of the design, one thing is clear: Manchester United is making a statement with this project. The plan is to include cutting-edge technology, massive screens, and some of the best hospitality areas in football. Unlike Old Trafford, where fans complain about tight legroom, the new stadium promises more comfortable seating, better sightlines, and improved accessibility for disabled fans. It's a step into the future, leaving behind the crumbling relic of the past. There's also talk about sustainable energy. Modern stadiums are focusing on eco-friendly designs, and United is no exception. Solar panels, rainwater collection systems, and energy-efficient lighting could all be part of the blueprint. If done right, it could set a new standard for football stadiums across the world. However, all this comes at a massive cost, which we're going to get into later. But if the club pulls it off, this could be one of the greatest stadiums on the planet. If they don't, well, they'll never hear the end of it from rival fans. One thing's for sure, though. Love it or hate it, this stadium is going to change Manchester United forever. What will happen to Old Trafford? So, with talks of a new stadium buzzing, one of the biggest questions fans have is what will happen to the historic Old Trafford. I mean, it has been Manchester United's home since 1910, and for over a century, it's hosted some of the most unforgettable moments in football history. From Sir Matt Busby's legendary team to the dominance of Sir Alex Ferguson's era, Old Trafford's more than just a stadium. It's a sacred ground for United fans. But let's be honest, the old stadium has seen better days. The leaky roof, outdated facilities, and crumbling infrastructure make it clear that a serious upgrade is long overdue. However, some fans were hoping for a major renovation rather than a complete demolition. There was even a suggestion to keep Old Trafford and then convert it to a smaller stadium for women's and academy teams. But after looking at the cost, the idea was quickly thrown out. It turns out fixing up Old Trafford to modern standards would be just as expensive, if not more, than building a brand new stadium from scratch. So the decision has been made. Old Trafford will be completely torn down to make way for a state-of-the-art 100,000-seater stadium. Of course, this decision has sparked mixed reactions. Some fans are devastated at the thought of losing such a historic landmark. Others are excited about the possibilities of a brand new world-class arena. But let's face it, change is hard, and as much as Old Trafford holds sentimental value, the truth is that the club needs a stadium that matches its global status. Premier League's evolved, and United needs a home that can rival the best in the world. Now the demolition process will be done in phases, allowing the team to continue playing in some capacity while the new stadium gets built. Once completed, the new arena will bring in better facilities, a much improved fan experience, and potentially host major international events like the Champions League final. And let's not forget, this isn't just about Manchester United. The new stadium will boost the local economy, creating thousands of jobs and bring massive investment to the surrounding area. So while saying goodbye to Old Trafford is going to be emotional, the future looks incredibly bright for United fans. Who's behind the project? For those who don't know, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is the mastermind behind the stadium's overhaul. He's a British billionaire, owner of the petrochemicals giant Ineos, and a lifelong Manchester United fan. So unlike some of the previous club owners, he actually cares about the team and wants to see it rise. And since Ineos bought a minority stake in the club, Ratcliffe's been pushing for major changes, and the biggest of them all is the new stadium. From day one, Ratcliffe has been vocal about his vision. He doesn't want to just create a new stadium, he wants to create the Wembley of the North. In his eyes, football in the north of England is just as big, if not bigger, than down south. So why should all the major finals and international tournaments take place in London? Wembley, Twickenham, and Wimbledon are all in the south, and Ratcliffe believes Manchester deserves a world-class stadium that can host events like the FA Cup Final, Champions League Final, and even England internationals. And let's be real, the guy's got a point. Manchester is one of the football capitals of the world, so having a 100,000-seater stadium would not only give United an incredible home ground, but also attract massive global events, bringing prestige and economic benefits to the city. But Ratcliffe isn't doing this alone. The project has major backing from some major players, including Andy Burnham, the mayor of Manchester. Burnham has called this project the biggest regeneration scheme ever seen in the country, and he's not exaggerating, because this isn't just about a football stadium. The plan includes major improvements to transport links, new housing and business developments, and creating a whole new district in Manchester. In short, it's a game changer for the city. Now, if anyone knows how to build an iconic stadium, it's Foster Plus Partners. Their job is to make sure the new home of Manchester United isn't just another big stadium, but a true masterpiece that'll be the envy of clubs worldwide. At the end of the day, the people behind this project have one goal: to restore Manchester United's reputation as the biggest club in the world. And a shiny, state-of-the-art 100,000-seater is definitely a step in the right direction. How much will it cost, and when will it be ready? Of course, building a stadium isn't cheap. In fact, the estimated cost is over 2 billion quid, making it one of the most expensive stadium projects ever. And just putting that in perspective, that's more than the GDP of some small nations. It's also significantly more than what Tottenham spent on their new stadium, which was around £1 billion, and that even felt like a fortune. Now, let's talk about when this mega project will actually be ready. Final designs got submitted at the end of last year, and once the paperwork is done, construction could happen as early as this year. But before we get too excited, let's be real. Big stadium projects are never quick. If everything goes smoothly, which is a big if, Manchester United might be playing in their new home by the end of the decade. That's 5 years of construction, dust, noise, and possibly a few delays that'll leave us all pulling our hair out. For reference, Tottenham Stadium took 3 years to build, and that was even delayed multiple times. Barcelona's new camp renovation started in 2023, but that won't get fully done until the year after next. So history tells us that these things never go exactly as planned, meaning patience will be key, especially for fans like us who want to see their team play in a modern world-class arena ASAP. But hey, let's not forget the small matter of where Manchester United's going to play when this is all happening. Are they temporarily going to move to another stadium? Will they try and play in a half-finished construction site with cranes and scaffolding in the background? These are questions that need answers, and they will be crucial in determining how smoothly this transition goes. What do fans have to say about this? As you'd expect, Manchester United fans are divided, and honestly, that's putting it lightly. The club surveyed about 30,000 supporters, and the results were a straight-up 50-50 split. Half want to stay at Old Trafford to keep the history alive, and the other half are ready to move on and embrace a shiny new future. For the traditionalists, this feels like losing a piece of the club's soul, because Old Trafford isn't just a stadium. It's where Sir Alex Ferguson built his dynasty, where legends like Eric Cantona, Ryan Giggs, and Cristiano Ronaldo have made history. Fans have decades of memories tied to that place, and the thought of tearing it down is heartbreaking for many. Some believe that moving to a new stadium could erase part of Manchester United's identity, because after all, you can't just build a history overnight. But on the other side, many fans are looking at the bigger picture. Old Trafford, as iconic as it is, has definitely seen better days. Whenever it rains, it feels like the stadium is holding a bucket challenge that none of us asked for. Leaky roofs, outdated facilities, and a lack of modern features make it clear that an upgrade is long overdue. A brand new stadium could mean better experiences for fans, more revenue for the club, and a better chance to compete with Europe's elite. Plus, who wouldn't want to see Champions League finals or major international tournaments getting played in Manchester instead of always getting hosted in the South? Of course, not everyone's convinced. Some fans are skeptical about whether this project will be done properly. Will the new stadium have the same intimidating atmosphere that made Old Trafford a fortress? Will ticket prices skyrocket, making it harder for the average fan to attend games? These are real concerns, and they won't go away until the club gives more details. One thing's for sure, though, no matter what happens, emotions are running high. Some will be heartbroken, others will be thrilled, and a few will be hoping the new stadium doesn't end up looking like a giant dishwasher tablet. Yeah, that's an actual complaint from some fans who saw the early designs. What happens next? For now, everything is still in the planning stages. The final designs and plans have been submitted, and if approved, construction starts this year. But let's be real, this isn't just about drawing up fancy blueprints and picking the right shade of red for the seats. This is a massive project that'll take years to complete, and a lot can happen between now and then. First, there's money. We're talking about a £2 billion plus project here, and let's just say that's not pocket change. Manchester United will have to secure funding, and while Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos are committed to the rebuild, there's still a lot of financial juggling to be done. Will it be privately funded? Will there be government support? Will ticket prices skyrocket to cover costs? These are the burning questions that fans and critics will be debating for years to come. Then there's logistics. Where will United play while Old Trafford's getting torn down? Will they ground share with another club, or will they phase out construction in a way that allows them to still use parts of the stadium? No one knows for sure yet, but whatever happens, it's going to be a huge adjustment for players and fans alike. One thing's certain, whether you love the idea or hate it, Manchester United is about to undergo its biggest transformation in decades. So get ready. Old Trafford days are numbered, and a brand new era is about to begin for the Red Devils. But what do you think? Should Old Trafford be completely taken down for a new stadium, or should they just fix their leaking roofs and upgrade the Wi-Fi? Let us know in the comments. We're committed to releasing 2 videos a week. Like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more visionary builds.